Good morning, everyone. We have Coach Payton for the conference call. Megan, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Patrick. Coach, we'll begin with Parker Gabriel of the Denver Post. Go ahead, Parker.
Hey Sean, good morning. When you're facing a planning for a quarterback like Cam Ward, who's making his debut, obviously, do you go mostly to Brian Callahan and his system? Do you go back and look at like college tape from Cam Ward? How do you go about sort of the unknown piece of that puzzle?
Yeah, good question. We do all of it. So you have a limited exposure in the preseason with them. then you would go back and look at his college tape at Miami, just to get a feel for not only arm strength, but how does he handle pressure? How does he handle zone? And so we do a pretty in-depth study. And it's pretty normal when you play teams early in the season, maybe to not have all the information you might have when you play a team in week 8 or 9.
Andrew Mason, the fan.
Hey, Sean, you have A.T. Perry on your practice squad, kept him. What progress have you seen from him in the last few weeks since you activated him from PUP list?
Yeah, I would say quite a bit. He was having a real good spring, kind of an accelerated spring before the injury. And then it's always frustrating for a player like that has that type of setback as he's trying to make the roster. But he's participating now. He's developmental. He's long. He's got good, strong hands. So we've been encouraged, and it's good to have him back on the field healthy.
Eric Dalala, DenverBroncos.com.
Yeah, hey, Coach, you've talked about the need for a fast start. How much of that comes down to just the mentality of the guys as they head into this week?
Well, it's the schedule, it's the sense of urgency. Ultimately, it's the preparation, the details in this game plan, in the team we're playing. Everything from hydration to recovery during the week, so that they're at their best, peak performance on Sunday, sleep included, all of that. Those are, and that really isn't even discussing the football scheme.
Chris Thomas in the Gazette.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, on your running game, do you think you saw enough of everything you wanted to see in training camp in the preseason, or is it still a little bit of a work in progress as you enter the regular season?
Well, I think as everyone enters the regular season, 32 teams will be a work in progress. We talk about it all the time, that accelerated learning after week 1, 2, 3, even week 4. But we have liked what we've seen from the running game and from our personnel from that perspective. So, we get a chance to see it first this weekend.
Mike Kliss, 9 News.
Yeah, Sean, besides Cam Ward, what have you seen from the Titans to where they seem to be a much improved team compared to what happened to them last year?
Well, a couple things. They've made a commitment in the offensive line, signing a couple, big name free agents, drafting another player. I think on the perimeter, with Lockett there, their skill people, receiver wise, has definitely improved. But the number one thing that stood out was in look, I've worked with Bill Callahan before. He's a fantastic line coach, and I'm sure they felt they had to get better in that area, and they committed a lot of resources there.
Zach Stevens, DNVR.
Hey, Coach, how much more are you able to put on Bo Nix's plate now as opposed to this time last year when he was making his NFL debut? And from a play college perspective, how much does that help?
Yeah, I don't think it's putting more on his plate. I think, and I hear that referenced a lot. I think it's a little bit more of what he's used to and how he operates within it more efficiently, more quickly, more decisively. I've told the coaches, early in the season, it's got to be a process. It's not, all right, this is where we ended last year. Now we're on to, and so I think if I did or used a good analogy, it would be a certain play a year ago. That same play this year, he's out of the huddle a little quicker with the call. He maybe understands the nuances of the play and has seen the cut-ups of it all year, and it is a little bit more comfortable with the same play from a year ago.
Arnie Stapleton, Associated Press.
Hey, good morning, Sean. I'm wondering what does Alex bring back to the field and to your arsenal that you maybe missed last year when he missed 3/4 of the season?
Well, he's a great communicator. I think there are a couple things that I'm not going to say are must, but certainly pluses for inside linebackers. Number one are instincts, tackling, but he is a calming influence relative to getting the defense lined up. He wears the green dot. His leadership. So all those things outside of just his ability to play and tackle. He communicates well. He's, I'm sure, considered one of our leaders, and so it's hard to replace that when there's a lot of intangible things that you lose when you lose a player like that.
Kyle Fredrickson, The Gazette.
Hey, Sean. Last season, Bo Nix finished third on the team in rushing attempts. I'm just curious if you expect a similar workload in that area for him, or if the improvements in your run game will allow him to operate more in the pocket.
Well, a little misleading if you're looking at those numbers and you're writing a story on it. When you drop back to pass, and one of his strengths is the off-schedule throws, and then periodically the decision to keep it. We didn't break the huddle with a quarterback run. And so to the latter part of your question, I hope, and I think you're going to have a chance to see a more efficient run game. But one of the great strengths with Bo's game is when the pocket gets, a little dirty, he can move right and left, throw on the run. He can decide to keep it and gain 12 yards. That part of his game we wouldn't address.
Luca Evans, The Denver Post.
Hey, Sean, just kind of given the amount of investment that you guys made in Dre Greenlaw this offseason, is there any just kind of concern with the fact that he hasn't played, any live game snaps this preseason? And what have you seen just kind of behind the scenes as far as him trying to get ready, and has there been an effort to take things really slow with him heading into week 1 and beyond?
Well, he hadn't played in the preseason, but he's gotten a lot of work. We are being smart. We're being conservative relative to the approach. It's a long season. And so, most importantly, having him not only healthy early on, but for the long haul is the goal. Bo and his staff do a great job of that, better than anyone in the league. And so I think with each player, you have to treat them accordingly relative to the injuries, the injury history, the position they play, and yeah, is there always risk when you're lining up out there playing a position like that? There certainly is, but he's very much in tune to what we're doing.
Coach, that appears to be all the questions we have in the queue for you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.